Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about this one last time. I think this was all a publicity stunt, ladies and gents. I think this was all a publicity stunt. What am I talking about? I'm of course talking about the Spider-Man, Disney, Marvel, Sony, whatever you want to call it, business. There's a lot of evidence to say that this is probably a publicity stunt. Marvel and Sony to release Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut in theaters. Okay, that's interesting that comes out just after we hear about all of this. We got Tom Holland with Robert Downey Jr. over on Instagram saying, "We did it, Mr. Stark." We've got new rumors. Apparently there's a new Spider-Man deal by Marvel and Sony in the works. I think this was all a publicity stunt. I think we've been duped, ladies and gents. I'm not getting into like tinfoil hat territory here. I'm just going to lay out the facts. Well, the report, should I say. So, first things first was this. Okay, Tom Holland teasing Spider-Man deal with Robert Downey Jr. So this is over on his Instagram. Tom Holland may have just confirmed a new Spider-Man deal as the 23-year-old actor took to social media to post images of himself with Robert Downey Jr. "We did it, Mr. Stark," Holland posted on Instagram, which also includes images of the pair holding Iron Man and Spider-Man action figures. So regarding Robert Downey Jr., more than likely he didn't sign a new deal for Iron Man. Obviously he didn't, he's dead. Maybe just for voicing or something like that. But it's guessed that Downey Jr. serves as a sort of mentor role for the young Tom Holland, which I could probably believe. So possibly Robert Downey Jr. may have aided or had a hand in the negotiations between Disney and Sony and Tom Holland. Now I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. I genuinely just think this is probably a bit of a publicity stunt. Tom Holland back as Spider-Man within the MCU. Regarding the Spider-Man deal, recently saw blah blah blah. No one really cares about this. But the interesting thing is Tom Holland and Zendaya, I believe it was, unfollowed Sony on Instagram, which I know we're getting into really weird territory when we start talking about this, but it's important because it shows how much of a publicity stunt it is. Tom Holland is still contracted with Sony, so to unfollow them on social media is purely like a PR stunt. But we'll take a look at these little images here. Nothing major, it's just him hanging out with Robert Downey Jr., and then there's that last photo of them with the figures. So there's this, which is pretty big. And again, like it comes out over everything. We hadn't heard any statements from anyone. You know, Tom Holland just remained really, really quiet and then just did weird things like unfollow Sony. And then we've got the new rumors, you know, that there's a new deal in the works. Days after Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios ended their partnership to have Spider-Man in the same universe as the Avengers, Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy, a new report from Cosmic Book News states that Disney is attempting to reconcile with Sony and offer them another seven picture deal over keeping Spider-Man in the MCU, which includes a second Spider-Man trilogy, 2 more Avengers films, and sincerely, the web-slinger's debut at the D23 Expo. So there was rumours that Marvel were headlining with, you know, some Spider-Man news. And again, D23 literally beginning, today, now, it starts to add up that this is probably a publicity stunt. The Lords of the Long Box, a YouTube channel who has connections at Disney and Marvel, have reported this information along with his insider source. So apparently what this person is reporting anyway is that the new deal that Disney wants to include, or the new deal that Disney wants, is a 6-picture deal with Tom Holland with an option for a 7th. There are 3 more Spider-Man films after Spider-Man 3, which will be a new trilogy. The second trilogy will focus on Peter Parker's college years, including plans for Peter Parker to meet and team up with Firestar and Iceman of the X-Men, based in part of the 1980s cartoon Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. The other 3 films are Avengers 5 and 6, in which Spider-Man will have a much larger role and become friends with the Fantastic Four member Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Marvel Studios will helm and co-finance all Spider-Man related films for 30% of the full profits for the unforeseeable future. They previously wanted 50, but Sony refused. Sony did offer 25 apparently, but Disney didn't want to go that low. So apparently 30% is now where they all draw the line. Sony will distribute the films, but Disney will acquire exclusive digital and online rights for Disney Plus and affiliated TV networks. Marvel Studios will helm and co-finance the Spider-Verse live-action spin-offs under the same terms, which is a huge shame. Again, like, their positive impact on the films to one side, I just feel it's good to have more creative minds out there rather than just one company kind of doing it all. Venom will apparently be rebooted into the MCU. Okay. Sony will be given permissions for TV live-action programs based on Spider-Verse properties. Sony currently only has the film rights, but needs permission from Disney for TV rights. Disney wants the deal to be finalised before Saturday's Marvel panel at D23 Expo. Spider-Man is also said to be a part of a D23 Expo panel, which would make sense. He is currently in the States with Robert Downey Jr. So that makes sense, doesn't it? The additional details is it's also stated that Tom Holland wishes to remain in the MCU. It's been reported that both Holland and Zendaya unfollowed Sony on Instagram. They did. I checked that out myself. If Sony is purchased by another company like Apple, which was rumoured, the Spider-Man film rights will revert to Disney, which obviously Disney would love. Disney wishes to rival Netflix and dominate the streaming world, blah, 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 blah. And then the other thing which kind of adds to it is, again, Spider-Man, Sony reportedly was willing to concede 25% of the franchise, but Disney wants more. That was stated before, and now this one is saying about 30%. And then there's this one. Like I said at the start, this is the clincher for me. The fact that we've got D23 Expo, which is probably where they would announce something like this. Exclusive, Marvel and Sony to release Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut in theaters, just like they did Avengers Endgame. Or, yeah, they did. Yeah, wasn't it? It was slightly extended. Marvel and Sony will release a Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut into theaters. My source tells me this Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut will hit theaters on August 29th, which would make sense. That's a week after the D23 Expo and probably everything that they're likely to announce. They also passed along a nifty poster showing Spider-Man in half of his stealth costume and half in his Iron Spider suit. That kind of looks fan-made, to be fair. There are no other details about this extended cut that were given to Bounding Into Comics. It's unclear what exactly will be included in it. Marvel Studios recently released an extended version of Avengers Endgame that included 6 minutes of extra footage. I bet that was so worth it, ladies and gents. The extra footage included a deleted scene featuring Professor Hulk rescuing a number of kids from a burning building. It also included a teaser for Spider-Man Far From Home. That's not worth it, is it? The announcement of an extended cut comes just after Sony and Marvel broke off negotiations surrounding Spider-Man, leading to his exit from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A report from Deadline, so again, Deadline was the ones that indicated they wanted a 50-50 co-financing. The Hollywood Reporter stated that Disney was actually looking for 30%, and we've heard that Sony was willing to give 25%. So Sony offered to continue the current financing deal, which reportedly sees Disney earn 5% off the first dollar. I think this is all a huge publicity stunt. I think the breadcrumbs are there for us to follow. D23 Expo's coming out. We got Tom Holland saying this weird stuff here. It just raises everyone's profile, and then reportedly Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut. I genuinely think this has just been a publicity stunt. Anyone in the industry, literally anyone that knows anything about the industry and the business and anything like that, will say that Disney was mental for going with that proposition to Sony. Everyone has. It's nothing new. It's only fanboys crying about it, saying, Sony's just greedy. No, not at all. Anyone who knows anything about the industry and knows how this would impact it, again, John Campea has said it. I don't subscribe to John Campea being the be-all and end-all, but literally everyone that knows anything about the movie industry will say it was a terrible deal. Of course they were going to reject it. It seems so outlandish that they would even attempt that. But now it starts to make sense when we look at everything that's come out now. I think it was a publicity stunt. It raises the profile hugely. Search engine optimization, right there. all the searches for Spider-Man in the MCU, and then they release a Spider-Man Far From Home extended cut in theaters. Yeah, I can believe it. I think this is a publicity stunt, ladies and gents. I think the next stuff that we hear will be very, very telling of whether it was a publicity stunt or not. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about this? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you are new here, make sure you hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Also, if you liked what I did here with this video, please do give it a like and a share. And you can also support me further over on my Patreon, which is linked down below in the description box, as well as my Amazon affiliate link and my Teespring, which is under every single video. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Take care.